What color is an apple? I posted a video painting an apple blue and people are very upset about it. So today we're going to talk about it. It's 100 degrees here and I turned my AC off to do this, so we're going to go fast. Now, all of it is based on a concept called underpainting and color theory. I don't actually think apples are blue, but you wouldn't click if I said they were red, would you? There are a lot of people in the comments saying, you're not wrong, you should use a complement to make a shade of a color. But the complement of red is not blue, it's green. I know that the complement is green. Or so I thought. This led me down a path of dozens of YouTube videos, websites, images, TikToks of people trying to explain what the complement of red is. And it's not always the same answer. It is so hot right now. I don't want to talk about color, but I have to because people keep yelling at me. This is not going to be a video about the difference between RGB and CYMK, yada yada yada. I don't care about that. As an artist, I care about what works the best and what gets me the best result. I'm going to paint a few more apples, 4 of them, comparing a few different colors of underpainting, and see what we like better. Okay, we're going to start with blue because that's the one that everyone's so upset about, and I'm going to paint the areas where the shadows are going to be. After blue, we are going to move on to red because everyone is also so incredibly certain that apples are red, and you know, why not? Lastly, we'll move on to green because that was the other common answer, because green is the complement of red, or at least it's supposed to be. And again, I'm painting the shadowed areas here because I'll come back with more layers later. But there's a fourth option that hasn't really been talked about, and if we think about the CYMK model, which I know I wasn't going to talk about, but cyan is a much closer complement to red than green is. So again, I'm going to try one more option here, cyan, and we're going to see how this one turns out. Now I'm going to add the yellow area. So again, I'm going to add the same yellow to all of these apples. It's the shade or hue, I forget what vocab word I should use here, but when red is in the sunlight, this is the direction that the color moves as it's exposed to a white light. So on all of these, I'm going to add a yellow here. This is not really about a painting technique here, but just so everyone's aware, I'm letting the colors dry in between each layer that I add so they don't bleed together too much. So I'm adding yellow to all these, and already you can see they've got a nice tint to it. And lastly, I'm adding the red here. So this is obviously the last layer, but everywhere that I add the red, it's a transparent layer that's going over those first underpainted layers and adding depth to it. So we've got the red one here. Obviously, it's not getting as dark and as rich as I want it to be, so I'm going to cheat here. I'm going to add a little bit of purple to it. We all know it's not the real answer, but we'll move on to green here. This is the one everyone's interested in. I think that this ended up being a little bit more brown than I expected, a little bit duller than I expected. And so when I moved on to this cyan one, I thought this was actually maybe the most realistic option. And I don't really base reality on the CYMK model, but honestly, it seemed like it did a pretty good job. So now I'm looking back at these, and I think, honestly, here's the red one. It looks a little bit blue to me, and the shadows aren't quite as dark as I'd like them. The red one is not my favorite, and I added blue to it anyway when I added the purple. The green one I think is actually quite interesting, and I like the effect of the green sort of bleeding through here. But I do think the cyan option is actually my favorite. I think it has the deepest shadows, the richest shadows, and I think it's my favorite overall. So what color is an apple? Blue, red, green, cyan? Tell me in the comments and let me know if you want me to try anything else. Subscribe if you like this kind of content, and I'll see you next time.